Another day and more news to talk about the November 13th hearing. We have been talking about the fact that this could really be focused on the Immaculate Constellation program, the reverse engineering program, the thing that came out in the Michael Schellenberger report about the whistleblower that came forward to give that name. Michael Schellenberger went on to talk about it on many different places, Rogan, News Nation. And everybody started to think a little bit more that this particular whistleblower would come out and participate in the November 13th hearing. There was reports that Mike Turner, who basically shut down and helped gut the UAPDA bill last year, rumor was that he was trying to shut this thing down. Whether it's true or not, we don't know. Makes sense. Who knows? But there were reports when this hearing, they've been talking about another hearing forever. And when asked about it, whether it was Moskowitz or Luna or whoever, Luna was very adamant about how they were going to cover the USO stuff. That also seems to be something that they're going to do, and that carries over because Tim Gallaudet will be talking. He will be testifying. So they're going to cover it there. But when the Schellenberger thing came out, everybody else then started to say, you would assume that this is going to be a major part, especially if this person speaks. Now, on yesterday's show, on UAP Tuesday, we talked about Lukatsky coming out and saying he doesn't think that it's very beneficial for these whistleblowers because they're not protected enough to do it, and doesn't really see, and also not even just protected. There's only so much that they can say with NDAs and other things that he doesn't think that it's going to be very relevant. But let's take a look at this particular tweet that came out today. Mike Disclosure, who posts a lot of great stuff, and the whistleblower report on Immaculate Constellation. Now, the report on Immaculate Constellation, written by Michael Schellenberger, whistleblower who submitted it to Congress, will be one of the focuses of the upcoming public UAP hearing on November 13th. There is a lot more information in that report than what has come out publicly so far. If the full contents of that report were to be made public, it would move the needle on UAP disclosure. The DoD has often buried Black Project within the DOE, which has classified UAP materials under a nuclear secrets provision within the 1954 Atomic Energy Act. Secretary Jennifer Granholm of the Department of Energy recently testified that her department works with the military's Joint Special Operations Command, which has played an integral part in UAP crash retrievals globally. This story on the whistleblower's report is still developing, so stay tuned to this channel for future updates. Follow this account. So you should definitely check out Mike Disclosure for sure. This is, again, if what he says inside of this is that the information that comes out in this report comes to light, that it moves the needle closer to disclosure, if that's the case, then you would assume that the stuff that Jeremy Corbell said on NBC starts to have even more merit. And Jeremy Corbell was saying that this is going to be the hearing that everyone is talking about. This is going to be the conversation of things, of information that people haven't wanted out for years that will be coming out. And he's confident enough, Jeremy Corbell, that this is going to happen. It seems, they said one of the things that is going to be covered in this hearing, to reiterate the things that we've been talking about many times over about this hearing, that everyone says that if you're someone who's watching this channel has said, it's got to have significance, this hearing. It can't just be hearsay or someone said and those types of things. They're going to have some of that in the hearing, of things that like, well, this is this type of stuff that was reported. These are the things that were reported. But there's got to be people with information. And as Nancy Mace said, she's looking for some holy shit moments, right? As Tim Burchett said, it has to be something that really has people just, people in this community are satisfied with the information that is coming out. It's got to be something that is worth these people's time to do. It will be after the election. There will be a new president at that point. I do wonder what effect that whoever the new president is will have on the opposite party's side that's part of this. So in one aspect, because you've got Moskowitz and Garcia and all these people, let's say Trump wins again, will they be, AOC was on the last committee, will they be as willing to participate in the fresh wounds of a loss? And the same goes if Kamala Harris wins. If she wins, then what does Nancy Mace and Burchett and Luna, how do they handle it? Do they handle it in a place of maybe are they running this because they're confident enough that they think that their side is going to win, which is so crazy. This now how we both say that, right? Now everybody says that it's the side as opposed to different points of view. So it's a whole other conversation, different channel. However, I'm just very curious how that's all going to work. But let's say that you can cross your fingers and hope in the same way that hearing in 2023 worked as a very bipartisan hearing. Let's cross our fingers that say that I'm gonna go with a positive way of thinking here. And I'm going to say that they realize whoever it is, both sides, whoever's team loses, if you will, they go, all right, that game's over. It's a new game now. Let's be bipartisan again. That's what I'm going to hope for. In the same way that in 2023, you couldn't tell who was a Democrat and who was a Republican. Couldn't tell. They're all on the same side. I'm hoping that's what comes out of this on November 13th. So let's say that is indeed the case. They're all professionals. They do their thing. Then I believe it'll be a longer hearing. I believe that the USO stuff will be a major focus. And I do believe that this Constellation program is going to be a major focus. If it does, and I have to address once again and it's the thing that I had heard about, or I was curious about rather, that I had heard Lukatsky talking about yesterday, which is what is different about these witnesses that are going to be testifying than was different about David Grush, where the frustrating thing, which is not David Grush's fault, is that there were a couple things that he said that blew people's minds. There are other things that he says, like, I can't tell you this, I can tell you in a skiff. How many times are we going to hear that? And if we don't, is that going to be ramifications for whoever is speaking? Is that one of the threats that's coming? How quiet are they keeping these whistleblowers? Are the Mike Turners of the world and all these people right now frantically looking to place the names? Because I feel like that's what the movie is about, right? The movie is basically about this moment in time right before this all went down, that they were frantically looking to expose who this person was, and they can't figure it out. It's the stuff we don't see, but you probably hear down the line, it's like they kept this so under wraps that you didn't know who it was, that they hid this person until it was time. So I'm curious how that's going to work. The other thing that was pretty fascinating was this video clip that came out, and I want to play this. Now, this clip was posted by our friend UAP James, who says former DNI James Clapper requested all of the NSA's UFO files in 2016, says former NSA director Mike Rogers. So listen to this clip here.
James Clapper calls me, Mike, I need you to go through all of it. The director of national intelligence, James Clapper, calls me, Mike, I need you to go through all of it. I need the team to go through all of NSA's holding all of its files, and I need everything that you have on UFOs. And I'm like, what, sir? You want me to do a review of our databases on UFOs? And I'm literally thinking to myself, is this some kind of joke? But clearly it's not, which is reflected in the question. For a lot of people, this is, hey, what is going on out there? Look, clearly there are phenomena occurring out there that both are visible and that we can't explain. I don't know what causes them. I don't know what they are. I don't know why. I never saw anything in my experience in the government in 37 years, both as an intelligence professional, but also as a senior military individual. I never saw anything that led me to believe that there was some external, i.e. non-terrestrial actor behind this kind of activity. But the flip side is I couldn't explain yet some of the activity. I just don't know.
Now, I think, and you guys can correct me in the comments if I am wrong, but I believe that there were when David Grush was on Rogan, he talked about the two mics that were given him that were giving a lot of pushback to this UAPDA stuff. One was Mike Turner and one was Mike Rogers. I think you guys can double check me on that. Someone can say, well, why don't you do the research before you do it? That's your job. That's not what I do here. I talk on the top of my head and the things that are going on. So you can tell me in the comments if that's the case. I believe that was the case. My memory serves correct. So Mike Rogers clearly involved in this stuff and is asked about this, and the fact that they were sniffing around about this back then, and he plays it off as if it's like, oh my God, you're looking at the UFO stuff? Now, the way you can look at it this way, if this is the same Mike Rogers who was trying to get stuff quiet, that he's known about this stuff for quite a while, if this hearing is coming and I always bring up this scenario of, if you have like the people who are running the things and pulling the strings who have been doing it for the 70 or 80 years, and they have been having meetings for that amount of time. And in those meetings, they go, don't worry about that. We got Alan Hynek. He's going to work. He's going to help it out. He's going to do Project Blue Book. Hey, he left though. And he's now saying that there are these things. Don't worry about it. There's no internet yet. We have enough ways. We'll say things are balloons. We'll say things. We'll have people shut it down in the government. We got it. So more people talking. Doesn't matter. Social media comes out. David Grush comes out. All this stuff comes out. All those meetings that were happening between these people. Is the meeting, what meeting, or when is the meeting going to happen when they say, sir, I think this is it. I think we've hidden it as long as we can. I think that the lid is finally going to come off. And I don't think we can do anything about it. Social media is too loud at this point, and every time we try to shut it down with something else, it's just too loud now, and we didn't foresee the internet doing this. And someone like a Mike Rogers goes, well, if they ask me about it, I'll give a little hint that, oh, well, yeah, I didn't know either. Like I talked about it. I think that it is kind of real, and I said as much on that interview, that it's not looked upon anymore in the way that it was 15 years ago. If someone asked him about that, like, it's so silly. When they used to have the people on the talk shows and they asked him about it, oh, I don't know. That's just something. That's just science fiction stuff. Now it's a real topic. I had a conversation today with two friends. One very interested in the topic, but still not well read on it yet. The other, who still looks at it as science fiction and kind of laughs about it. This hearing that happened on November 13th has to be so powerful that person, my friend, who is still kind of thinking the science fiction side of it, he knows what's happening. He understands everything that went down. He's hearing it in the news. That's what has to happen in this hearing. And if the Immaculate Constellation program is brought up and confirmed, that should be a story that every major news outlet covers. We'll see. Guys, thanks for joining me here today on the show. I appreciate it. Please click subscribe. Hit that button. We just passed 36,000 subscribers. We're trying to hit 40,000 by the end of the year. I think that's possible. So hit that button. Comment. Do everything that you need to do. Be part of it. We are on both Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere podcasts are found. You can be a member on this channel if you want to support, but I got another way you can support. I got a really great way you support, and you're going to like this a lot. I'm going to tell you guys about both Via and Tile, two of my favorite sponsors that I've ever had. I'll tell you about both of them right now. Let's talk about Via, and I love Via. Love them. So, they are the premium federally legal cannabis product, and they are your perfect companion. They're farmed and crafted with care in the U.S. and trusted by over 500,000 customers. Via has a product for everyone. Unlock the power of nature with Via's organic and vegan hemp extracts, perfect for relaxation and rejuvenation. Via is the only lifestyle hemp brand. They use compounds found in hemp along with active plants extracts to create products with each specific effect in mind. They also have zero THC products. They're the industry leader of over 500,000 customers served. They're made in the USA. They have award-winning services as far as customer support. They have quality ingredients sourced from the finest hemp for your peace of mind and lab tested and certified. Best part, affordable and accessible. So if you are 21, check out the link to VIA in our description and use the code DTE to receive 15% off. What a deal. After you're purchasing, they're going to ask you where you heard about them. Support our show and tell them that we sent you. DTE this fall. Enhance your everyday with VIA. This is the easiest thing I've ever talked about, ever, on this show or any show I've ever been on. Tile. This is the best. I'm telling you right now that I lose my keys all of the time. At least I did. My wife would say, how do you do that again? We were supposed to go somewhere. I was supposed to pick up her sister from the airport, and I couldn't find her. We're like, oh, my God, she's going to have to take an Uber. It's going to cost so much money now. Oh, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And I don't have my keys. I can't find them. Luckily, I found them in time, but it took a lot of unnecessary stress in order to get there. And I don't have to do that anymore because with Tile, it could be for your keys. I mean, it's so many different things for your remote control. For it, I have so many of them now, and I continue to use them and give them to my family. I can track where my kids are. I got a teenager, man. I got to know where her phone is. I got to know all these different things. It's so wonderful, and I can tell you also I'm giving it to my family from my dad is older now. I'm giving it to him so I can track him, know where he's going, how he's doing, if he's healthy. I'm able to do that, to know if anything's wrong. That's what Tile helps me do. So it really does. It takes out so much stress. I am telling you, if you don't already, they've been around for a bit. This is the time to get them. Get them. It's wonderful, especially for parents, especially for people who lose crap all the time like me. Get it. So family proof your family with Life 360's Tile trackers. You got to do it. You go to tile.com. Use that code DTE. You get 15% off. That's easy. So again, tile.com. Use that code DTE. This is a no-brainer. It's easy. I lose my remote control all the time. Not anymore. Tile.com. Use the code DTE.